A Book of Fairy Tales, Dean. Dean's A Book of Fairy Tales, 1977 edition. Illustrated by Janet and Anne Graham Johnstone. Contents:
Rumpelstiltskin, page 36. Rumplestiltskin. There was once a poor miller who had a daughter. One day he had to go inside the king's palace on business. He was so pleased at this honor that he tried to make himself into somebody much more important than he really was. He told the king that he had a beautiful daughter who could spin gold out of straw. "You may bring her to see me," the king told the miller, who was already beginning to regret his boasting. "I would like her to do some of this wonderful spinning for me." The next day, the frightened miller took his poor daughter to visit the king. The king was delighted to see that she was indeed beautiful. He led the girl to a small room, and when he opened the door, she saw that it was full from floor to ceiling with straw. The king pointed to the spinning wheel. "Set to work and spin until dawn," he told the poor girl. The miller's daughter had no idea how to spin straw into gold, and all she could do was sit and weep. Suddenly, the door opened wide, and in peeped a tiny man.
"Why are you crying?"
he asked. "I must spin all this straw into gold by dawn," she wept, "and I do not know how to do it."
"Do not worry about that,"
cried the little man.
"I will help you. But first, what will you give me if I do?"
"I will give you my ring," said the girl. She gave it to him. Then he sat down at the spinning wheel. It began to turn and twist. The little man fed straw onto the whirring bobbin, and the more he put there, the more golden coins fell onto the floor. When dawn came, there was no straw left, and the room was full of gold. When the king came to see the girl, he could hardly believe his eyes. He was so pleased that he had another room prepared. This time it was even bigger room, and there was still more straw in it. "Spin more gold for me, my dear," cried the king. He shut the door, leaving the poor girl alone with the straw and the spinning wheel. She did not know what she was going to do without the little man's help, and began to cry. The door opened a crack, and he peeped round at her once more.
"What will you give me this time if I spin the straw into gold for you?"
he asked. "I will give you my necklace," cried the girl happily. The little man took the necklace. Then he sat down at the spinning wheel. Whir, twist, and twirl went the wheel. The bobbin caught in the straw and cast it out again in the shape of hundreds of golden coins, just as it had done before. When dawn broke, all the straw had gone, and the room was full of glittering gold. This time the king was so overjoyed that he had a still larger room filled with straw, which was tightly stacked from floor to ceiling. "If you spin all this straw into gold, I will make you my queen," he cried to the miller's daughter. The girl knew that she could not do it without the little man's help, and waited hopefully for him to appear. Sure enough, he came.
"What will you give me this time if I spin the straw into gold?"
he asked. "Alas, I have nothing to give," wailed the girl.
"Then promise me that when you are queen, you will give me your first son,"
demanded the little man. The girl could do nothing else but promise, and at once the little man seated himself at the spinning wheel and began to spin. The wheel whirled until the room was full of gold. Then the sun shone in through the window, and the little man went away. The rich king kept his promise, and he made the miller's daughter his queen. A year later, a son was born to the queen, and she was so happy that she forgot all about the little man and her promise to him, until one day he appeared in her room and pointed to her baby.
"Give me the child as you promised,"
he cried. The queen begged him to take anything else except her baby, and as he felt rather sorry for her, he told her that if she could guess his name within 3 days, she could keep her son. The queen tried all the names she knew, but she could not guess the little man's name, and he went away. He came back the next day, and she tried with hundreds more, but the little man's name was not one of them. Before the 3rd day dawned, the poor queen sent a messenger all over the land to bring back all the strange names he could find, but there were none left.
"But I did see one strange thing,"
he told the queen.
"I was passing a little house with a tiny man dancing and jumping round a fire burning in front of it. He was singing a song, and this is what he sang. 'Tomorrow I brew, today I bake, and then the child away I'll take. For little Dean's my royal dame, that Rumplestiltskin is my name.'"
The queen was delighted to hear this strange name, and was very happy when the little man came next time. She waited for him to speak before she asked him about it, and teased him a little before she said the name her messenger had told her.
"Now, dear lady, what is my name?"
asked her visitor. "Is it Harry?" she asked.
"No,"
laughed the little man. "Is your name Conrad?" she asked.
"No, no,"
cried the little man. "Is your name Timothy?"
"No, no, no,"
shouted the little man. "Then your name is Rumplestiltskin," said the queen.
"Some witch told you that. Some witch told you that,"
cried the little man, and he was so angry that he stamped his foot so hard he sank right down into the ground, out of sight, and never troubled the queen again.